Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Pope Francis has announced we are in World War III. This is basically his direct quote here. It goes into a few different things. It doesn't matter whether or not it's he uses the word organic instead of engineered. But he says we are basically in a global war, and this is World War III. And this is basically his line. This is war. There was a war in 1914, then that of 1939 to 1945, another great war. Then there's this one. It is maybe not organic. It is organized, yes, but not organic. But this is a war, the Pope said. To be clear, when I speak of war, I speak of real war, not a war of religion. There's a war of interest, there's a war of money, there's a war of natural resources, there's a war for domination of peoples. This is the war of which I speak. The Pope understands the Luciferian NWO basic order to use Islam as its catalyst, so to speak, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what's actually going on. Pope has actually come out and actually said this. And he has actually said that we are in World War III. So, unfortunately, I think it is that I didn't catch this in the churches speaking, because I'm waiting for the Pope to actually, kind of quote unquote grow a pair and come out and say this, because this is what Imran Hassan he's a sheikh, has been basically going on about for so long. And I'm like, God, when is the Vatican going to actually come out and say we are in World War III? And it is finally at a point where the Pope has, dovetailed his gay rights agenda and all the bull that they're paying him to speak on, to actually come out and say that we are in World War III. He basically comes out and says this is war. There was a war in 1914, then in 1939 to 1945, another great war. Then there's this one. It may not be organic, in other words, it may be engineered, but it is organized, yes, but not organic. In other words, this didn't just happen. People made it happen, but it's still a war. But this is a war, the Pope said. Basically look at the values he used. 1914, that was World War I. 1939 to 1945, another great war. And then there's this one. So he is actually saying that we are in a World War III level war. And Pope admits humanity is in World War III. And this is the big deal, folks. I know I did the lettering bad. I apologize. But Pope admits humanity is in World War III. And I've been waiting for so long for anything of this sort to actually come out. And to actually have this person to drop all his gay rights agendas and all his other stuff and just come out and drop the bombshell like this is what I've been waiting for. This is when the Vatican should be calling up every male capable of carrying arms and saying, get your ass to a battlefield, you son of a bitch, it's time to fight. But that is no longer the Christendom, Christianity, whatever word you want to use, Islam or Judaism, because it's all run by the freaking banks, unfortunately. But if these guys honestly had the kahunas to say it, that is what they would be saying. Get your ass to a battlefield. Forget about these assembled banking armies. You need to be on a battlefield fighting. This is no longer about an Islam or a CIA-backed Mossad or any of this other stuff. Or, Russia and Islam. It is World War III. It may not be organic, is what he said. Maybe engineered, that's kind of like the underlying. but it is, in fact, what he calls another great war, stating there was one in 1914. The world recognizes that as World War I, and in 1939 to 1945, the world recognizes that as World War II, and this one, he said, recognizing this as the third global Great War of our historical cycle in the last, say, couple hundred years that they're actually been doing this stuff. And basically, this is the serious situation. The Pope Francis has admitted humanity is in World War III. And it's about time he's come out and said it. And I am very happy to hear that this man finally gave up all his agendas, speaking out about, oh, gay rights this, and oh, that, and oh, this, and actually came out and said, yeah, guys, by the way, this is World War III. Whether it's organic, engineered, or otherwise, we are in the next great war. You know, it doesn't matter how many purse strings it has. It doesn't matter how many hands are involved in it, trying to keep it in your cities in some form or another and out in others. This is World War III, folks. Pope Francis actually comes out and admits it, that humanity is in World War III. And to me, that's so freeing and liberating. It's, you know, at what point, you know, are the politicians and different people going to come out and admit that? Because their bankers haven't told them they have the okay to do so. Well, then the standing armies are null and void. Then the police that are prosecuting, you know, against the whistleblowers and stuff trying to leak this stuff is null and void. I'm not saying they're not, you know, involved in it. They are, of course, but they're being used as puppets rather than to bring down the banks to stop the next war and the next, all the other things that I always talk about. I mean, this is the situation, folks. And now the Pope finally admits humanity is in World War III. And to be honest, it's kind of liberating for him to actually come out and say it, because I'm so tired of listening to and hearing that, oh, we are not. Oh, this is different. No, it's not. It is not different. Nearly 20 countries around the world are actively involved in fighting one group or another with either police or military forces in like 5 different continents at least. And this is a war. This is the next great war of our generation. And to be honest, I think we should be out fighting. I can't, because the banking Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines of the United States government won't let me in because due to my health problems. And yet they won't recognize Americans forming up a militia to go in and kick ISIS's ass and then take the fight to the banks to bring them down and stop this shit from ever happening again. Because they can't march on their master's property. They're not allowed to. So, Pope finally admits humanity is in World War III, folks. Thank God. I really didn't think this guy had the kahunas to do this. I'm going to put up another video once I finally find something of him hopefully giving this speech. That's what I want to have up. But I wanted to bring this to you because this is very important. Thank you.